This is Ali and Evie and Annie, and we all work at the City of Fremantle. And welcome to the Youth Arts and Community Grants Information Session. We're going to spend probably, around 10 minutes having a bit of a conversation about the grants program that we're offering. So thanks for joining us. And Evie's going to, press the button. Thanks. Evie, do you just want to go back to the acknowledgement? So we acknowledge the Whadjuk people as the traditional owners of the greater Fremantle-Wyalup area, and we recognise that their cultural and heritage beliefs are still important today. We pay respects to our elders past, present and emerging always. Next slide, thanks. So look, why we fund things, one of the best things about the Fremantle community is that you are all, or so many of you are so caring and you're so brave and you're driven and you're talented. And it's actually you that know kind of what should and could be kind of celebrated and showcased in Fremantle. You're also really attuned to maybe who needs help in this community. You all have so many different ideas. So really this grants program is a way that we invest in you to kind of make that impact in your local community. We know that when people participate in activities, it's good for your health, it's good for your well-being, it's good to connect with each other, it can give you skills, it can do so many things. So really that's why we have an investment program like this. And so we're really excited to hear of your ideas.
And I will now talk about some of the key information you need to know to put in your grant applications. Really important to start with is to contact the city to talk through your project idea, to talk through eligibility for the grants and any questions that you might have prior to starting and submitting your grant application. We really recommend that you talk to us, as it's a great opportunity for us to connect with you and hear your thoughts, and we can also provide feedback and save you time. So we really enjoy these conversations, and if it's just a newly formed idea, that's okay. We can get you pointed in the right direction. To get in contact, please email and we can call you when we have an idea of the project, if we can meet face-to-face or online. So there's very many ways that we can support you with those ones. The second point is that these applications are online through Smarty Grants portal. So all applications are to be submitted through the portal, and so you can save and come back to the application. And just a point we were discussing before is that it's a good idea to save also as you go through the application, because if you leave it to time out, some of that can be lost. So this Smarty Grants application also includes budget templates and tips for any of the questions, like what the question's actually asking. And also you can put your acquittal information in there at the end of the grant. So if you're concerned about using Smarty Grants, contact us and we can help you to get through Smarty Grants. The Smarty Grants info team is also really helpful with that. And the grants open on the 1st of March and the 1st of September every year, and close on the last day of each of those months. Funding amounts, we are all arts, youth and community are providing up to $7,500 in the grants, and the city will provide either full or in part funding towards your project. So it's really important to put in your budget what each of the items are that you'll need for the project. So if we can't fund for the entire amount, we'll be able to try to fund for some of those key budget items. Now, something important is the project timeframes. The grant project cannot start until the end of the assessment period. So we will take 6 weeks to assess all the grants, and we'll notify you after 6 weeks. So then your grant will not be able to start until then. And we talk a little bit more about that later, and which part of the month that is and which month that will be. The guidelines are available on the website, or we can provide a hard copy if you need them. Really important to read the guidelines and meet the guidelines, and they outline the objectives of each grant as well. So I'll just pass over to Ali.
Great. So if you're watching this video, you've probably already made it to the City of Fremantle website. We have a grants and donations page. So really that's just what we've put up here just to show a visual of how you get there. So you would either click on arts grants or you would click on the little title we've got there, community grants. Just know that this is an old slide we're using on the City of Fremantle website. Currently it says community and youth grants. So you kind of click in there, find your way through it and look all of the objectives and the guidelines and this video and even examples of previous projects are all there.
Excellent. And as I just referred to, these are the key dates. So the assessment period of 6 weeks means that 6 weeks from the 31st of March or 6 weeks from 30th of September. So your grant needs to start either mid-May or I've put on there mid-September. Apologies, that's mid-November. So yeah, it's kind of got it on there, but we'll fix that for when we put it on the website. So there you go. This is what the website looks like. So you're probably on that at the moment watching this video. So you scroll down to how to apply and you can go straight through to the Smarty Grants portal and the guidelines are also there.
All right, who can be funded? It's a little bit different for the categories. For arts grants, we do allow individuals who have an ABN to apply. The reason for that is it's many artists who are applying for arts grants and they're kind of sole traders or just individuals. So that's why we're really happy and comfortable with that. But also not-for-profit organisations can absolutely apply to our arts grants as well. Then with community and youth grants, very much we're just kind of looking more for incorporated associations or not-for-profit companies or applicants with the appropriate level of insurance. So you can always look, if you're just like, whoa, what does all that mean? Just give us a call and we can help you through that. The other option is also you could work with an auspicer or an organisation that will auspice your application. And so what that means is, and sometimes it's a really good option, someone else can take over the kind of responsibility of managing the admin side of the grant, so receiving the funds, which sometimes, you know, having $7,500 land in your bank account isn't a good thing. It should maybe go to another organisation who can track all of that, keep the receipts, do the acquittal, all the really boring stuff, but also the really important stuff from a kind of legalities point of view. So if you're feeling overwhelmed or you just feel like it would be better for someone else to do that, also let us know and we can kind of put you in contact with organisations that do provide the auspicing service. Oh, this is me as well. So I get the really bad slide. I remember this from when we've done workshops.
It's very long.
It's such an awful slide. What won't be funded? It is a long list. I think this is just a snapshot, to be honest. All of this is written in the guidelines. It's saying a lot of things of, you know, we don't do this, but we actually do fund a lot of things as well. So do make sure you double check this. I guess some key takeaways really is we can't really fund kind of major equipment purchases or kind of capital works. Like if you want a building to be renovated or you want to buy like a huge, I'm not even sure, a tractor or something. We just can't do those types of things. We really are looking at really covering you know, the costs of what it is taking to put on a project in a specific time. So it's not about ongoing costs of organisations or projects as well. Yeah, so just have a look at this list and again, just talk us through and we'll also kind of pull out anything that we're concerned about.
Yeah, and I might just jump in as well, Ali, and say if you've received a community grant from us before, and potentially arts and definitely youth grants as well, you can't be funded for exactly the same project year on year, because we want to bring sort of some new innovation into the city and not just have ongoing kind of funding agreements. So if you have received a grant from us before and you'd like to have another grant for your organisation and a project you'd like to do, it just needs to be a little bit different. So, you know, just need to think about whether you can capture a different kind of group of people if you're offering something for out in the community, or or just take a different slant on it. So that's why it's a good thing to call us and actually have a chat about it. Even if you think, oh, I've applied for this before, I know exactly how to do it. It does actually need to be a different project, and we'll definitely let you know if we get to speak to you about that. So now I'll do the community grant objectives. So these are in the guidelines, and your grant application needs to address at least one of these, and obviously more would be seen more favourably as well by the grant panel, but it needs to identify and address a need in the community, or build capacity in the community for social inclusion and connectivity, or enhance healthier lifestyles and community enjoyment, and or seek to align with key strategic priority areas as outlined in the city's focused action plans. And so particularly for the first and the last one of the objectives, there's a bit more in the guidelines about what the action plans are and which particular needs that the city has identified in the community above others. And now youth grant objectives from Annie.
All right, my turn. Okay, so we're really excited about the youth grants, and relatively new compared to the community and the arts grants. So the objectives are very broad, and I'll go through them now. So provide young people an opportunity to develop social connections and contribute to the broader community. Encourage young people to be more physically and mentally healthy. Develop resilience in young people and empower them to make quality decisions about their health and well-being. Provide activities that enable young people to explore their interests and participate in learning opportunities. The project takes into consideration the prominent demographics, so the cold communities, people with a disability, high school students, university students of the area where the project will take place, and respond to them effectively in a meaningful way. Also, just to include, the city has just launched its youth strategy. So that goes from 2024 to 2027, and there's 4 focus areas. So if you're feeling that the objectives are a bit too broad and you want something a little bit more specific, head over to the youth strategy and they'll unpack it a little bit more for you. So the first focus area is all about living, learning and working within the city. The second focus area is about community safety, so healthy and safe. Focus area 3 is about being connected and accepted. Focus area 4 is engaged and empowered.
Great. And I just have included examples of funded projects. The youth grants only just started last round. So even though there's examples of who we provided funding for on the website, there's not been any outcomes as yet because they've just kicked off with that. So I've got a couple of community grants, but one of them had a youth focus there for their project. So I think the important point about these is I won't necessarily read them out, but all of these types of projects of community and youth need to be something that engages members of the community and enhances their social connection and their knowledge in an ongoing way. So it's great to have a big community event, but these events won't necessarily be funded by community grants because it's not providing that ongoing social connection. Whereas if you had an event and you actually linked it to other opportunities, such as, creating a community garden that welcomes all ages or people with disabilities, something like that, and then at the end you have an event launch, that's more something that the city would be likely to fund rather than something that's one-off. And we're on to arts.
Oh, arts grants. So we are so lucky in Fremantle that we're such an artistic and cultural city, and we have so many artists living here with really great ideas. So really that's what the arts grants objectives are. It's to really nurture and support the artists and creatives that are doing things here. So the proposal must be kind of artist focused or creative focused, and we're definitely looking for artists that kind of live and work in Fremantle or play in Fremantle. The other difference of these grants is that you also, the proposal must engage with the local community. So the community itself must benefit from these grants. So if it's someone kind of maybe just wanting to put on an exhibition but you're not sure who the audience will be. Maybe it's don't come to this this funding program. What would be more interested in is, okay, you're putting on an exhibition. Does it have ties to local organisations or maybe to high schools or to primary schools? And will there be public programming during your exhibition, and will people come along and get to learn more about what you're doing? So it's not just about the artists, it's about the community itself. And then it is also about this place. So it is it is about putting on something either in Fremantle or about Fremantle. It's possibly one of the most Freo-centric programs that we have. We absolutely acknowledge we have a remit of supporting the arts and cultural sector throughout the state in Fremantle. But for these grants, it's Freo, 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 please. So I guess some examples of projects. Do you mind going to the next slide? Thanks, Evie. Yeah, go to the website and you can kind of see what's been funded previously. It's a tricky one with the arts, and actually with any grants programs, it's kind of like comparing apples and oranges. So don't do that when you've got your own proposal and you look at these and you're like, oh, mine doesn't quite fit that. That's okay. These are all very unique projects. Why we fund them is, again, because they're really hitting those objectives of engaging the community. So we've provided some funding to Duncan Wright and a group of creatives who are creating a film about the Dorchestra, which is it's a community orchestra that meet in North Fremantle. And then there will be a kind of film screening and celebration about that beautiful collective of people making beautiful music. And then, at the other end of the spectrum, we funded a new kind of artist-run initiative or space, which is just on Beach Street, where this space is going to be set up especially for kind of emerging artists or artists who are kind of doing quite experimental practice. So yeah, two really great examples. They were from the previous round. The most recent round, we funded Alex Desabrock, who is doing a little bit of a creative development exploration in Boo Park, a very loved park in Fremantle, where it's a kind of participatory performance, so people can walk around the park with Alex and listen to the trees. So that'll be a really exciting one. We also funded Ross Vegas and a group of really great people who are doing spooky tours at the West End. So just give us a call or email us and we'll talk you through kind of your ideas. And if it's not suitable to the arts grants, don't worry, we're really happy to just kind of hear ideas, and then we can kind of maybe find other pathways for you as well.
Application process. Contact the city's grant officer to discuss the potential project and application. So we've been through that a few times. So there's the email address or the city's phone number, which is on the website below as well. Number 2, complete the grant application form online via the city's Smarty Grants portal, which you can find on this page. Please ensure all questions are answered with as much detail as possible. And you can save and come back. And a very important thing that we would love you to do is attach quotes if an item, budget item, is over $1,000. So we can't assess your grant if you haven't attached those quotes. So very important. And number 3, press submit on your application and you'll receive an email of receipt. All notifications will be via email. And any technical issues, please contact Smarty Grants, and they're very, very helpful people there. And if you're not sure if your application's submitted, please feel free to email grant funding. We won't, if there's been an accident, and you think you've submitted and you haven't, we will let you submit it, the day after or whatever like that. So if you're not quite sure, just definitely contact.
So what this slide here is basically like, it's a screenshot of Smarty Grants. Really, again, just showing you what it looks like. And we kind of want to reiterate that it is a really simple process. I think when you look at this slide, you just go, whoa, there's a lot of words here. But it really is. I've applied for a lot of grants, and Smarty Grants is one of the nicest, easiest processes to go through. We only ask a few questions, really. I think there's about 4 or 5 questions. And it's a really nice kind of, it's almost like forced project planning or homework. If you really want these projects to happen, these are the things you need to kind of research and know about anyway. So if you kind of do all of that work first, and then you come to the Smarty Grants and you kind of, prepare your answers and then copy and paste them in, save as you go, as Evie said, and then submit away. Please start the process as early as possible. Particularly the technology side, as early as possible. Don't start it on the last day. Sometimes we get calls from people like 2 hours before the deadline, and we're just like, don't do it to yourselves. Start early, because you can save, come back to it as you go. And yeah, so that's just kind of what it looks like at the moment on the first the Smarty Grants. You go to the City of Fremantle area and you kind of choose the different grant round. So you can either click on Arts Grants, which is hyperlinked in blue, or the community or whatever, and then it takes you through to the page where you can preview the form, download the form, especially if you want to send it to other people in your group or organization so they're aware of the work that needs to be done, and then you can start the submission.